Now, from across the tri-states, this is KHQA Sports.
Well, the simple truth of it is that people change jobs in this world every day. Tom Shields did so on Sunday and touched off a 72-hour firestorm of sorts in vacating his 3-month post as Quincy Notre Dame boys basketball coach to take a coaching gig at Alamogordo High School in New Mexico. Now, until today, his exit letter to players and parents offered his only rationale for departing, that he and his wife were unable to find full-time work and that his $5,000 coaching stipend wasn't enough to make ends meet. Then news broke this morning that both Tom and his wife had been hired as a middle school principal and math teacher respectively in the Griggsville Perry School District, only to jilt, quote-unquote, Superintendent Janet Gladue by text messaging when she found out that her secondhand that her hires weren't coming. There's a lot there to digest. That may be the understatement of the year. So we reached out to Tom Shields and gave him the chance to say his piece today. At the crux of all of this, he says, was his roll of the dice that he could take the Q&D job essentially on spec and find gainful employ when he got to the Gem City.
It's a leap of faith, and there were some possibilities at Q&D at the time. Nothing was promised other than the total support of the administration to help me. Obviously, if something opened up at the high school, I would have been that I was qualified for. I think that would have happened. And I know that Mr. McDowell, the principal, did make calls trying to help me out. So, to me, this is a no-fault situation. People shouldn't be pointing fingers at anybody.
Yet Tom Shields finds himself with plenty of fingers pointed now in his direction from 2 different school districts. As for the manner in which he left Quincy Notre Dame, he's adamant he didn't try to slink out of town.
And I had the letter of resignation ready, a letter to the parents, and the players, which has been published, I guess. A couple of my players put it online. And it was delivered Sunday when I met with my principal and AD, that's the chain of command. It was broken, information was broken before that because of communications that were made to press people, and really wasn't given an opportunity to make the proper notifications at the proper time.
Did you feel any kind of angry backlash from anybody inside the program after you announced that you were leaving?
Not one bit. Everything was extremely supportive.
So everything else came from what, media, other...
It came from people who didn't have the facts or the chronology of what went on. It came from people who wanted to, I said, get the conversation going. It's unfortunate, but what I really care about is what those kids and the parents think.
As to the Griggsville Perry situation, Shields asserts that he had only tentatively accepted the middle school principal job, and says he's dumbfounded as to the backlash.
I can't understand why they would be so upset. I mean, they had nobody applying for a position they weren't even going to fill. They were thinking about just going, not even hiring a middle school principal or PE, bouncing people around. So I don't understand that. I mean, I went there and spoke to 2 people for an hour, and it went real well. But I mean, that part I don't understand anything beyond that. But I guess I must have been more valued than I probably should have been.
You find yourself in the position now of having to defend your integrity in a lot of ways, in ways that I'm sure with other coaching positions and departures, you probably haven't had to answer for those type things before in terms of this sort of scale of sort of the backlash you received.
No.
Personally, that has to hurt a little bit, doesn't it?
Sure it does, because my integrity and honesty has never been questioned. People were disappointed when I leave, did I move around a lot? Yeah, but nothing like this. Knowing that, I acted with a true heart, I communicated as best I could and as timely a fashion as I could. I was just doing, I think, what anybody would do in this situation.
Without comment or critique. By the way, we're back to football tomorrow. Barnstorm kicks back up. And as promised, Scotland County and Paris, who kind of got pushed back by the whole Tom Shields things the last couple of days. We'll preview those 2 teams. New head coach in Scotland County, and looks like a pretty good one. Paris loaded for bear again. So those 2 teams back on Barnstorm clock tomorrow at 6 and 10, respectively. Last chance tonight for the Quincy Gems. Win or go home. No chance to defend. They wouldn't go to the playoffs. Early on, though, great start in this one. Aaron Meyer sets the table right here for Anthony Villa. who hits the RBI single in the bottom of the first to stake his team to, at that point, a 1-0 lead. Unfortunately for the Gems, here come the Springfield Rifles back in this ball game with 3 runs in the third. Starts right here with Jesus Caparol right there with an RBI rip, and then David Jacob would drive home 2 more to put his team up 3-1. Gems would answer in the 6th and tie this up behind Taylor Schwaner, who makes it a 3-all ball game. But in extra innings in the game just completed, the Gems end up losing 5-3, so there will be no repeat Prospect League title. Their season has come to an end. Also on the night, the Hannibal Cavemen, who are essentially playing out the string, lose to Danville tonight by the final count of 12-4. Sam Griggs with his 3rd home run